There you
Let's go. This is legit, guys. So
go.
thank you for all coming to the show. Um, criminal defense. Arash, why do you want to do criminal defense, or why did you want to get into criminal defense?
Well, I didn't want to be a lawyer when I was younger. I wanted to be in the NBA. I wanted to play basketball. And there was this family doctor, or doctor who was a family friend that I used to talk basketball with. His med school buddy worked for the Lakers. And one day he goes, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I think I was in the 8th grade. And I said, "I want to be in the NBA." He said, "You know, that's a really hard thing to get into. You should be a lawyer." I go, "What?" He goes, "You should be a lawyer because you like talking and arguing." Something clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer. And to me, um, what I knew about law or being a lawyer was what I saw on TV. And it was, uh, all criminal. The TV shows, the movies, everything. And it just, I liked the glamour and the mystique that went with it. I had no other clue what it's going to be like. So I decided I wanted to do criminal. So that's how I got into it.
Is your favorite movie Lincoln Lawyer?
Yeah, it is actually. I have a poster of the Lincoln
Let's
Lawyer movie in
go.
my office.
That movie's epic, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, that movie is epic. And the guy who wrote the book, he used to be a LA Times reporter who covered criminal, and that's where he got all the ideas. And when I first started, I worked for this famous criminal defense lawyer. He owned a Lincoln and he had a driver, and he represented the Hells Angels. So I like to think that he based part of that movie on him. So
Wow.
or the character on him. Yeah.
Did OJ do it? I'm just kidding.
It's funny because I've been watching all the shows that are coming out and everything.
Yeah.
And I think he probably did do it, but he was acquitted. So
That's right, man.
yeah.
That's where people like you come in well, I'm not going to make assumptions there, but can you share a memorable case that had a significant impact on your approach to legal defense?
It's a good question. Um, I'll share a memorable case because it's just one of my favorite cases. I don't know if it changed my approach, but I had a client who Saturday morning at like 2 in the morning, it was Sunday, he went to 7-Eleven by his house. He was playing video games, and he went to 7-Eleven by his house to buy soda. He walks in 7-Eleven, and there's four guys standing in line, and they turn out to be underage. They've been drinking across the street at the bar, and he made a comment to them. They got into it. Three of these guys go outside. One of the guys is still in there. He actually buys him a donut. Then the guys are just waiting for him in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven, and he finally comes out, and he beelines to go to his car, and one of the guys just punches him. He falls on the ground. He gets back up, beelines, goes to his car, gets in his car. Two of the guys go on the driver's side, two go on the passenger side, and they open the door. So he had a firearm in the center. If he had one of those things, it wouldn't be fit in there. So he had a firearm in there. He gets out, and he says, "Leave me alone." One of the other guys who had just gone to the passenger side had grabbed the bottle that he had just bought, and he threw it at him. It hit him in the eye. It fractured his eye socket. At the same time, he started unloading his gun. He got one of the guys. It's funny, he had 6 bullets. He got him 6 times. They disperse. He calls the police, and he tells them this is what happened. The police tell him to stay, and he said, "No, I'm driving myself to UCLA Medical Center." He drives to UCLA Medical Center. His eye is fractured. His eye socket is fractured. Next Monday, he gets a lawyer. With the lawyer, they go into the police station, turn himself in, turn the gun in, and he gets charged with attempted murder. He goes to his arraignment. He has a public defender. He's from Florida. Then they hire me. He comes to my office. He comes with his brother who came from Florida, and he's just crying. And it took a year, but we claimed self-defense. At the preliminary hearing, which is like a probable cause hearing, the judge just sees if there's enough evidence for the case to go to trial. The judge determined that it was self-defense, but it was imperfect self-defense. So the judge lowered it from attempted murder to uh, voluntary manslaughter, and then send it to trial court. At trial court, the DA's added a gun enhancement to it, which adds anything on top of it. And we filed a 995 motion. A 995 motion, you file it all the time after a prelim, saying the preliminary court made a mistake, and you do it because of appeal purposes, because if it goes in appeal. So we go, the case gets continued, the prelim, or I'm sorry, the motion gets continued. The judge keeps going, I want to see the video, because all of this is on video, the 7-Eleven videos. And then finally they produced the video for the judge, because the DA goes, oh, we already produced it, long story. But then the judge dismissed the case off record, told the DA, you should never have filed this case. If that could have been me that was attacked. But my client at this time was still, he had to move back to Florida because he lost his job. His life was turned upside down. So I called him to update him, and I said, are you sitting? He goes, yeah, why, what's going on? I told him the case was dismissed, and he just starts bawling. He starts crying. And I'm like, call me back. But that was one of my favorite cases because it took a while, and his life was changed drastically. But at the end, because of everything, case was dismissed, and he got justice, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
So that's one of the cases that stands in my mind the most. Yeah.
That must feel really good when you can change the trajectory of someone's life for the better.
Yeah, he was facing a strike. He was facing prison time, and he was facing attempted murder in the beginning. And at the end, the judge not only dismissed it, the judge said, you guys should file a motion to seal, which we did. The judge sealed the case, threw away the arrest, so cleaned everything up for him. I mean, the damage was already done, but at the end, it was a great feeling for him and for me. So that's the case that I remember the most.
Very memorable. I would not forget that one either. What's the biggest misconception about criminal defense attorneys?
They think that we're putting criminals out on the streets, but that's not really what we do. Maybe we say it to ourselves to make ourselves feel better, but what we're doing is we're protecting people's rights. We're protecting the Constitution, right? If the police come to your house and bust in the door and do a search and find, drugs and get you for drug dealing, yeah, you're a drug dealer and you're going to go to prison. But if they got those drugs without a search warrant and they got them illegally, and we let that happen, we allow it to go forward, then that becomes the norm, and the police can bust the door into anybody's house. So that's one of the misconceptions. And the other misconception is they think that we're never going to need that guy because I'm not a criminal. I don't go, killing people or attempting murder, or I don't rob people. But as I've said it before, a lot of violations of law is criminal. Like the classic example, I have a client right now, the case is still going. He put up a retainer wall in his property, and he didn't get the proper license, and he went back and forth with the inspector. Inspector got pissed and referred it to the city attorney, so they filed a violation of a code on him, which is a criminal defense. So he's in criminal court, which is a misdemeanor, and he's fighting that. We're fighting that for him. Got another guy who owned a hookah shop, and the new law came, about sale of flavored tobaccos. He didn't have the proper license. They charged him with a misdemeanor. So that misconception is you'll need us because you might not be a criminal, but something that you do in business you could end up in criminal court. And criminal court is different than civil. You have different procedures and things like that.
What advice would you give someone who is contemplating wanting to get into the criminal field?
Don't do it. Don't be a lawyer at all. Don't be an investment banker or a stockbroker or something. Yeah. But if they really want to do it, be ready to be on your feet. I barely get a chance to go to the office and be in the office all day. I have to go to different courts. Sometimes I have to go to several courts in one day. And then you're dealing with like real life issues. And then the other thing is, I always say this, there's a separate parallel world that exists from the one we live in. And if you knew that world existed, you wouldn't want to leave your house. So be ready to be exposed to that world. And if you can't handle it, don't go into criminal defense.
Man, I kind of want to go into criminal defense now, man. Arash, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
It was
it.
a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.